The world is old. Older than you can imagine. Older than memory itself. It is late afternoon in the Cretaceous period. 66 million years before this moment. 66 million years before you. The air here is thick, heavy with moisture. It smells of green things, of pine resin warming in the sun, of damp earth and crushed ferns. If you were to breathe this air, it would feel different in your lungs. Richer, heavier. There is more oxygen here than you are used to. More life per breath. You are standing at the edge of a clearing in what will one day be called Montana. But that name does not exist yet. Names do not exist yet. There is only the sun, the soil, the slow turning of the earth. The clearing is vast, perhaps 100 meters across. The ground is soft with fallen leaves, layers upon layers of them, decades of autumn compressed into a carpet of rust and amber. In the center of this clearing, a triceratops stands motionless. It is an old one, perhaps 40 years of age. Its horns are scarred and chipped from long-forgotten battles. Its skin is a tapestry of wrinkles and folds, thick as leather, warm to the touch. It does not move quickly. There is no need. It has nowhere urgent to be. Time, for the Triceratops, is measured in seasons, in the slow cycle of wet and dry, of leaf fall and new growth. The animal lowers its great head to the ground. Its beak-like mouth clips a mouthful of ferns. The sound is gentle. A soft rustling. A wet crunch. It chews slowly, mechanically. Its jaw moves in a steady rhythm, side to side, grinding the green fronds into pulp. Somewhere in the distance, you can hear the low rumble of its breathing. Deep. Slow. Each exhale pushes a cloud of warm mist from its nostrils into the golden light. The sun is beginning its descent toward the horizon. It hangs low in the western sky, a coin of molten copper, casting long shadows through the forest. The light here is extraordinary. It filters through the canopy in shafts, solid beams of brightness cutting through the humid air. Dust motes drift lazily within these columns of light, spinning, dancing, rising and falling on currents too subtle to feel. Everything here moves slowly. A dragonfly the size of your hand drifts past your face. Its wings are transparent, veined like stained glass, catching the light as they beat. The sound they make is a soft, rhythmic hum, a vibration rather than a noise. It lands on a fern frond nearby. The frond bends slightly under its weight. The dragonfly's compound eyes glitter like black opals. It does not fear you. Fear is a concept for the hunted. This creature has been here since before the dinosaurs. It will be here long after. In the branches above, something is moving. It is hard to see at first. The canopy is dense, a living ceiling of magnolia leaves and cycth fronds, all overlapping in shades of jade and emerald. But there, yes, a shadow shifts. A small mammal, no larger than a rat. Its fur is dark brown, almost black in the dimming light. It clings to the underside of a branch with tiny, clawed fingers. This is Purgatorius, one of your ancestors. Though it does not know this. It knows only hunger, and caution, and the endless need to stay hidden. It watches the clearing below with bright, unblinking eyes. It watches the Triceratops. It watches the dragonfly. It watches you, though you cannot see it watching. The mammal's heart beats rapidly, 400 times per minute. Its entire existence is lived at a different tempo than the giants below. While the Triceratops measures time in seasons, this tiny creature measures it in heartbeats. It sniffs the air. Its nostrils flare. It can smell the pine resin, the damp soil, the musk of the Triceratops, and something else, something distant and wrong, but not yet close enough to matter. The forest is singing. Not loudly. This is not the aggressive chorus of dawn. This is the softer music of the late afternoon, the quiet hum of a world going about its business. Somewhere, a prehistoric bird calls. The sound is low and melodic, not quite a song, more like a question posed to the dimming sky. Another bird answers. Then silence again. The wind moves through the canopy. It is a gentle wind, barely strong enough to stir the leaves. It carries with it the scent of distant water, a river perhaps, or a lake, somewhere beyond the trees. The Triceratops lifts its head. Slowly. It turns to face the western horizon. The sun is sinking now, deepening from copper to crimson, painting the undersides of the clouds in shades of rose and amber. The animal watches the sunset. Perhaps it has watched 10,000 sunsets in its lifetime. Perhaps this is unremarkable to it. Or perhaps, somewhere in its simple mind, there is a flicker of appreciation for the beauty of the light. We will never know. Time passes. Minutes. Maybe hours. The distinction does not matter here. This is a world without clocks, without urgency, without the frantic pace of human life. The shadows lengthen. They stretch across the clearing like dark fingers, reaching toward the eastern trees. The light grows softer, warmer, more golden. This is the golden hour, the magic hour, the time when photographers wait with their cameras ready, when the light becomes something tangible, something you could almost reach out and touch. A beetle crawls across a fallen log near your feet. It is the size of your thumb, iridescent green, its shell catching the light like polished metal. Its legs move with mechanical precision, left, right, carrying it on some urgent mission known only to itself. The log beneath it is ancient. It has been lying here for perhaps a century, slowly returning to the soil, feeding the ferns that grow from its rotting bark. Mushrooms sprout from its sides, pale and delicate, their caps the color of old parchment. Everything here is part of a cycle. Everything feeds everything else. The ferns feed the Triceratops. The Triceratops feeds the soil. The soil feeds the ferns. Round and round. Season after season. Year after year. The system is stable. It has been stable for millions of years. There is no reason to think it will ever change. But if you look up, past the canopy, past the drifting clouds, there is something new in the sky. It is faint, almost invisible in the glare of the setting sun. But it is there. A second point of light. It does not twinkle like the evening star. It does not move like a planet. It simply burns, steady and bright, growing imperceptibly larger with each passing day. The Triceratops does not see it. The dragonfly does not see it. The tiny mammal in the trees does not see it. But it is there. Growing. Approaching. Silent. The temperature is beginning to drop. Not quickly. Not dramatically. But the heat of the day is slowly bleeding away into the evening air. The forest exhales. The leaves release their stored warmth. The ground beneath your feet is still warm, but the air above is cooling. The Triceratops shifts its weight. Its joints creak softly, the sound of ancient bones and cartilage adjusting after a day of grazing. It begins to move toward the trees. Its footsteps are heavy, deliberate, each one leaving a deep impression in the soft earth. Thud. 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 The rhythm is hypnotic, like the ticking of a very slow clock. Each step takes several seconds. The animal is in no hurry. It reaches the edge of the clearing and pauses. It lowers its head to a patch of low-growing cycads. It begins to eat again. The same slow rhythm. Clip. Chew. Swallow. Clip. Chew. Swallow. The light is fading now. The sun has touched the horizon. The sky above is deepening from blue to indigo, the color of a bruise just beginning to form. The first stars are appearing. Tiny points of silver scattered across the darkening vault. They seem so far away. And they are. Light from those stars has been traveling for thousands of years, millions of years, just to reach this moment. But there is one light that does not belong. It is brighter than the others. Brighter than Venus. Brighter than anything that should be in the eastern sky at this hour. It sits low on the horizon, just above the line of trees, unwavering. Constant. If you were an astronomer, if you had the tools to measure such things, you would notice that this light is getting closer. Moving toward Earth at 40,000 miles per hour. But you are not an astronomer. You are standing in a Cretaceous forest. And the concept of astronomy has not been invented yet. So you simply watch. And wonder. And wait. The dragonfly lifts off from its perch. Its wings catch the last rays of sunlight, transforming into fragments of stained glass, ruby and amber and gold. It circles the clearing once, twice, then disappears into the shadows. The small mammal in the trees has retreated deeper into the canopy. It has found a hollow in the trunk of a magnolia, a safe place to curl up and wait out the darkness. It tucks its tail around its nose. Its breathing slows. Its eyes close. Night is coming. The Triceratops continues to graze. It will eat for another hour. Maybe 2. Then it will find a sheltered spot among the ferns and lower itself to the ground. It will tuck its legs beneath its massive body. It will close its eyes. And it will sleep. Just as it has slept every night for 40 years. Just as its ancestors slept for millions of years before it. There is no reason to think tonight will be any different. The forest is settling. The birds have stopped calling. The insects have begun their evening chorus, a soft, rhythmic chirping that rises and falls like breathing. The air is cool now, almost comfortable. A gentle breeze moves through the clearing, rustling the ferns, carrying with it the scent of night-blooming flowers. Everything is peaceful. Everything is as it should be. But in the eastern sky, that strange, bright light continues to burn. Growing. Closer. Silent. Let us leave the forest for a moment. Let us travel upward. Away from the trees. Away from the ground. Away from the warmth and the weight of the atmosphere. Let us rise into the cold silence of space. Here, there is no sound. No wind. No bird calls. No rustling leaves. Only the vast, empty quiet of the void. The earth below you is beautiful. A sphere of blues and greens and whites, swirling with clouds, rotating slowly in the darkness. From this distance, it looks peaceful, serene, eternal. But there is something else here. Something approaching. It is difficult to see at first. Space is so black, so absolute. But if you look carefully, if you let your eyes adjust to the darkness, you can see it. A shape, dark against the stars, tumbling, slowly, end over end. This is the asteroid, though that name has not been given to it yet. Names are a human invention, and humans are still 66 million years away. For now, it is simply a rock, a mountain, torn from the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, perhaps 1 million years ago, perhaps 1 billion. Time is strange out here. Fluid, meaningless. The rock is roughly 10 kilometers across. 6 miles of stone and metal. Nickel and iron and silicate minerals, compressed over billions of years, forged in the heart of a dying star that exploded long before our sun was born. It is not smooth. Its surface is pockmarked with craters, scarred by countless impacts with smaller rocks and ice fragments. It is jagged, irregular, beautiful in its own terrible way. It does not know where it is going. Rocks do not think. They do not plan. They simply obey the laws of physics, the inexorable pull of gravity, the momentum imparted by some ancient collision in the asteroid belt. It tumbles, slowly, majestically. Each rotation takes several hours. As it turns, different facets catch the distant light of the sun, glinting silver, then fading back into shadow. It has been traveling for a very long time. Through the cold, through the void, through the spaces between worlds. And now, purely by chance, purely by the mathematics of orbital mechanics, its path intersects with that of the Earth. The Earth's gravity reaches out. Invisible, intangible, but powerful. It begins to pull, gently at first, then stronger, stronger. The asteroid's trajectory curves, bends, accelerates. It is falling now, falling toward the blue sphere below, falling faster and faster with each passing moment. 40,000 miles per hour, 50,000, 60,000. The numbers are difficult to comprehend. But imagine this: if you could stand on the surface of the asteroid, if you could somehow survive the cold and the vacuum, you would cross the distance from the moon to the Earth in less than 6 hours. But you cannot stand on its surface. You can only watch, from a safe distance, across the ocean of time. The asteroid is approaching the Earth's atmosphere now. It is close enough that you can see details. The craters, the ridges, the deep shadows cast by the distant sun. It is close enough that the Earth's gravity is pulling it with tremendous force. The rock is accelerating. Faster. Faster. And then, it touches the atmosphere. Not with a crash. Not with an explosion. Not yet. At first, it is gentle. The outermost wisps of the atmosphere, the thin, cold gases at the edge of space, begin to brush against the asteroid's surface. Friction. Heat. Light. The rock begins to glow. Faintly at first. A dull red. Like iron in a forge. But it is moving so fast. Too fast. The air cannot move out of the way quickly enough. The molecules of nitrogen and oxygen are compressed, crushed, superheated in an instant. The glow intensifies. Red becomes orange. Orange becomes yellow. Yellow becomes white. The asteroid is now wrapped in a cocoon of plasma. A sheath of gas so hot that it is no longer gas, it is light itself. Brighter than the sun. Brighter than anything that has ever existed in the Earth's sky. And still it falls. Down through the mesosphere. Down through the stratosphere. Down through the troposphere. The air in front of it is being compressed into a wall of solid heat. Thousands of degrees. Tens of thousands. The atoms themselves are breaking apart, ionizing, screaming. But there is no sound yet. Sound cannot travel faster than the object making it. The asteroid is moving faster than sound. Faster than the shockwave it creates. So it falls in silence. Below, on the surface of the Earth, the sky begins to change. In the Yucatan Peninsula, in what will one day be Mexico, it is late afternoon. The sun is low on the western horizon. The air is warm and humid. The smell of salt water drifts in from the shallow sea. The sky is a perfect blue. Cloudless. Clear. And then, a light. At first, it seems like the sun. Like a second sun rising in the east. A point of brilliance that grows brighter, and brighter, and brighter. The light is pure white. Not the warm yellow of sunlight. This is the white of welding arcs, of lightning, of things that should not exist in nature. The animals in the forest freeze. Instinct tells them something is wrong. But they do not understand what. They have no reference for this. No memory of anything like it. A pterosaur, gliding low over the water, turns its head to look at the light. Its pupils contract. Its eyes water. The light is too bright. Painful. And then, the hole. The asteroid punches through the atmosphere like a bullet through paper. It creates a vacuum tunnel, a cylinder of emptiness 60 miles long, where the air has been pushed aside so violently that nothing remains. For a fraction of a second, you could look up through this tunnel and see space. See stars. See the black void above. And then the air rushes back in. A thunderclap of unimaginable violence. But still, there is no time for sound. The asteroid is already gone. Already through. Already falling toward the surface. It passes over the coastline. Over the shallow, warm waters of the ancient Gulf. Over the limestone bedrock beneath. And then it touches the sea. Not gently. There is nothing gentle about this moment. The water does not splash. It does not have time to move. The asteroid is traveling so fast that the water, for all practical purposes, behaves like a solid. Like concrete. Like steel. But steel yields to a hammer. Water yields to nothing. Except this. The asteroid strikes the ocean with the force of 100 million nuclear weapons detonating simultaneously. The water in its path is instantly vaporized. Converted from liquid to gas in a fraction of a millisecond. A sphere of superheated steam expands outward. Growing. Faster than sound. Faster than thought. The asteroid continues downward. Through the vaporized water. Through the ocean floor. Through the limestone. Through the bedrock. It drives into the Earth's crust like a nail driven into wood. 20 miles deep. 30 miles deep. And then, it stops. Not because it wants to. Not because it chooses to. But because the Earth absorbs it. Swallows it. Crushes it. The rock that has traveled across the solar system, that has existed for billions of years, ceases to exist. It is obliterated. Vaporized. Turned into plasma and gas and scattered atoms. But its energy remains. All the kinetic energy of its fall, all the momentum of its terrible speed, is released in a single instant. In a single point. The crust buckles. Fractures. Melts. A crater begins to form. Not slowly. Not gradually. But in the span of seconds. The rim of the crater rises, a circular mountain range thrown up by the force of the impact, pushed upward by molten rock and shattered stone. The crater grows. Wider. Deeper. 100 kilometers across. 150. 200. The floor of the crater is now deeper than the ocean above it was. The ocean is gone. Vaporized. Thrown into the sky as steam and plasma. And then, the shockwave. It radiates outward from the impact site. Not through the air, not yet. Through the ground. Through the solid rock of the Earth's crust. This is a seismic wave. An earthquake. But not like any earthquake that has happened before or since. The ground ripples. Like water. Like the surface of a pond when you drop a stone into it. The wave travels at 5 kilometers per second. Faster than any sound. Faster than any wind. In Montana, 3,000 kilometers away, the ground suddenly jumps. Up. Then down. Then up again. The Triceratops, still grazing peacefully, stumbles. Its legs buckle. It does not understand what is happening. The ground, the solid, reliable ground, is moving beneath its feet. Trees sway. Not from wind. From below. Their roots, buried deep in the soil, are being shaken violently. Some trees fall. Ancient giants, centuries old, toppled in seconds. They crash to the forest floor with tremendous force, crushing ferns and flowers and smaller plants beneath them. But the Triceratops does not panic. It cannot. It does not have the mental capacity for panic. It simply waits. Confused. Until the shaking stops. And it does stop. After perhaps 30 seconds. The wave passes. The ground settles. For a moment, everything is still. But the air is changing. In the Yucatan, at the impact site, the atmosphere is being transformed. Millions of tons of vaporized rock are being thrown upward, ejected from the crater at speeds exceeding escape velocity. Some of this material escapes the Earth entirely, flung into space. It will drift in orbit for days, weeks, some of it will never return. But most of it rises into the stratosphere, into the mesosphere, into the thin upper layers of the atmosphere where the air is too cold and too thin to breathe. It spreads like ink in water, like milk in coffee. The particles are tiny, smaller than grains of sand, smaller than dust. They float, suspended, carried on high-altitude winds, and as they spread, the sky begins to darken. Not immediately, not all at once, but slowly, gradually. The blue of the sky deepens, becomes grey, becomes less. The sun, still shining brightly in the western sky, begins to dim. Its light is being scattered, absorbed, blocked by the growing veil of particles. In Montana, the Triceratops lifts its head. It looks at the sky. The color is wrong. The light is wrong. But it does not understand wrong. It only knows the present moment. And in this moment, it is hungry. So it lowers its head again and continues to eat. Clip, chew, swallow. The rhythm continues. But the light, the precious, life-giving light, is beginning to fade. The sun sinks lower, touches the horizon, begins to disappear. Normally, this would trigger a burst of color. Reds and oranges and purples painted across the clouds. But tonight, there are no colors. The sun simply diminishes, becomes a pale disk, a ghost of itself, and then it is gone. Night falls. The stars appear, but they seem dim tonight, distant, obscured by the thin haze that is spreading across the sky. The Triceratops stops eating. It walks slowly to a stand of ferns. It lowers itself to the ground with a heavy sigh. Its legs fold beneath it. Its head rests on the soft earth. It is tired. It has been a long day, a strange day. But tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow the sun will rise again. The light will return. The ferns will be there to eat. Tomorrow. The animal closes its eyes. Its breathing slows, deepens, becomes the slow, steady rhythm of sleep. In the trees above, the small mammal is also sleeping, curled in its hollow, warm, safe, dreaming whatever small mammals dream. The forest is silent now. The insects have stopped their chirping. The birds are roosting. Even the wind has died down. Everything is still. But high above, invisible in the darkness, the particles continue to spread. Millions of tons of vaporized rock, sulfur dioxide, carbon, ash, spreading, thinning, forming a layer around the entire planet. A veil, a shroud. And tomorrow, when the sun tries to rise, it will find this shroud waiting, and it will not be able to penetrate it. The light will not reach the ground. Not tomorrow. Not the next day. Not for months. perhaps years. The long night is beginning. But the Triceratops does not know this. It only knows sleep. Deep, peaceful, dreamless. Its chest rises, falls, rises, falls, breathing, still alive. For now, the earth is ringing, not like a bell in a tower, not like anything you have heard before. This is a deeper sound, a vibration that travels through stone and metal and the very core of the planet. If you could hear it, if your ears were sensitive enough, it would be a low, sustained hum. A note so deep that you would feel it in your chest rather than hear it with your ears. The frequency is below human perception. But it is there, resonating, echoing through the mantle, through the outer core, through the inner core of solid iron, spinning at the center of everything. The impact in the Yucatan has sent a wave of energy through the entire planet. Not just through the surface, through everything. In India, on the opposite side of the world, the ground is moving. The Deccan Traps, a vast plateau of volcanic rock, begins to crack. Deep beneath the surface, magma chambers that have been dormant for thousands of years suddenly rupture. Lava wells up. Not explosively, not violently, but steadily, inexorably. It flows across the landscape like water, slow, thick, glowing orange in the darkness. It covers the ground in layers, meters deep, kilometers wide. The heat is immense. The air above the lava shimmers and warps. But there is no one here to see it. No witnesses. Just the slow pouring of molten rock across an empty plain. The earth is releasing pressure, like a steam valve opening. The impact has disturbed something deep and ancient. And now it is answering. But let us return to the impact site. To the Yucatan. To the place where everything changed. The crater is still growing. Still settling. The rim, that circular mountain range thrown up by the force of the impact, is kilometers high. Made of fractured limestone and melted granite and rocks that have been turned inside out. The floor of the crater is filled with molten material. Not lava, this is different. This is rock that has been heated beyond its melting point and then compressed and shocked into something new. It glows. Red, orange, yellow. The heat radiating from it is enough to melt steel, to vaporize water, to ignite anything organic that comes near. But there is nothing organic left here. Everything within 1,000 kilometers of the impact has been erased. Not burned, not destroyed, simply erased, converted to atoms, to energy, to nothing. The ocean that once covered this area is gone. The water has been thrown into the atmosphere, vaporized, turned into steam and then into something stranger, into a plasma of hydrogen and oxygen atoms that no longer remember they were once water. But nature abhors a vacuum. The ocean, the vast, patient ocean, begins to flow back. From the Gulf of Mexico, from the Caribbean, from the Atlantic, water rushes toward the crater. Not as a wave. Not yet. Just as a tilting, a sliding, a gradual shift in sea level. The water pours into the crater. Thousands of cubic kilometers of seawater, filling the void. seeking equilibrium. When it touches the molten rock at the bottom, there is a reaction. Steam. Vast clouds of steam. Billowing upward. Expanding. Rising into the darkening sky. The steam carries with it particles of rock. Tiny fragments of the crater floor. They rise on the thermal currents, spinning, tumbling, joining the layer of debris already spreading through the upper atmosphere. And then, the wave. The water rushing into the crater creates a disturbance. A displacement. The ocean surface, usually so flat, so level, suddenly rises. A dome of water, kilometers wide, hundreds of meters tall, and then it collapses. When it falls, it creates ripples. But these are not the gentle ripples of a stone dropped in a pond. These are tsunami waves, moving outward from the impact site at the speed of a jet aircraft. Growing, building, feeding on the energy of the impact. By the time they reach the coastline, they are walls of water, 300 meters high, perhaps more. They sweep over the land, over the beaches, over the coastal forests, over everything. But here is the strange thing, the merciful thing. They do not crash. They do not thunder. They simply arrive. The water moves inland like a tide, a very fast tide. It covers the ground. It surrounds the trees. It lifts everything in its path, gently, almost carefully, and carries it away. A hadrosaur, a duck-billed dinosaur that had been drinking from a coastal stream, finds itself suddenly floating. The ground beneath its feet is gone, replaced by surging water. It does not struggle. It does not fight. It simply floats, suspended in the warm, silty water, its eyes wide, confused. And then the water carries it inland, over the floodplain, over the forest, over hills and valleys. Eventually, kilometers from where it started, the water begins to recede, to drain back toward the ocean. And the hadrosaur is lowered, gently, onto the muddy ground. It stands, unsteady, dripping, surrounded by debris, by uprooted trees, by strange objects carried from the ocean floor. It shakes its head. Water streams from its crest. It takes a tentative step, then another. It is alive, for now. But the sky above it has changed. The sun should be rising. It is morning now. Hours have passed since the impact. The Earth has continued its rotation. The night has given way to day, or it should have. But when the hadrosaur looks up, there is no sun. There is light. Yes, a dim, grey light, like the light before a thunderstorm, or the light deep in a forest where the canopy is too thick. But there is no bright disk in the sky, no warmth on its scales, no golden rays illuminating the world, just greyness. The animal does not understand. It calls out, a low, mournful honk. The sound echoes across the flooded plain. No one answers. Let us rise again. Up from the ground. Up through the grey light. Up into the atmosphere. The layer of debris is spreading. It is no longer confined to the stratosphere above the impact site. It has caught the jet stream, those high-altitude rivers of wind that circle the planet. The particles are being carried eastward, across the Atlantic, across Europe, across Asia, across the Pacific. Within days, the layer will encircle the entire Earth. A veil, a curtain, a barrier between the sun and the surface. The particles themselves are interesting, beautiful even if you could see them up close. Some are spheres of glass, tiny droplets of molten rock that were thrown so high into the atmosphere that they cooled and solidified while still airborne. They catch the sunlight, each one a miniature prism, splitting the light into rainbows. But there are too many of them. Billions. Trillions. More than can be counted. And together, they block the light. Not completely. Some light still filters through. Enough to see by. Enough to distinguish day from night. But not enough. Not enough for photosynthesis. Back in Montana, the Triceratops has woken. It is confused. The light is wrong. The temperature is wrong. Everything feels wrong. It rises to its feet. Slowly. Its joints ache. The ground shook during the night. It fell. Not hard, but hard enough. It is hungry. It is always hungry. Its massive body requires enormous amounts of food to sustain itself. It walks to the nearest patch of ferns, lowers its head, opens its beak. The ferns are there, unchanged, still green, still fresh. It begins to eat. Clip, chew, swallow. The familiar rhythm is comforting. Even if the light is strange, even if the air feels thick and heavy, the ferns are still here. And where there are ferns, there is food. And where there is food, there is life. The Triceratops does not know that these ferns are living on borrowed time. That without sufficient sunlight, they will stop growing. Stop producing new fronds. Stop converting carbon dioxide into oxygen. It does not know that the entire foundation of the ecosystem, the green things that convert light into energy, is about to fail. It only knows the present moment. And in this moment, it is eating. Clip, chew, swallow. Clip, chew, swallow. The rhythm continues. But the light, the precious light, continues to fade. High above, the particles spread, thinning, dispersing, but never quite disappearing. They will remain in the atmosphere for months, perhaps years, blocking the sun, absorbing its warmth. And with each passing day, the Earth will grow a little colder. But that is a slow catastrophe, a gradual dimming, a patient killer. For now, in this moment, there is still food, still water, still life. The forest is quiet, too quiet. The birds are not singing their morning songs. The insects are not buzzing. Even the wind seems hesitant, uncertain. The Triceratops continues to graze, moving from one patch of ferns to another. Its movements are methodical, automatic. It does not notice the small mammal watching from the trees, the Purgatorius, the tiny ancestor of everything that will come after. The mammal is awake, alert, its whiskers twitching, its nose sampling the air. Something is wrong. Every instinct is telling it to hide, to retreat deeper into the hollow, to curl up and wait. But it is also hungry. It has not eaten since yesterday afternoon. And hunger is a powerful motivator. It creeps along the branch, carefully, quietly, its claws gripping the bark. There is a nest nearby, a small bird's nest, woven from grass and moss, tucked into the crook of a branch. The mammal approaches. Slowly, it peers into the nest. Empty. The bird has already fled. Or perhaps it never returned last night. Perhaps it sensed the wrongness in the air and found somewhere safer to roost. The mammal sits back on its haunches, disappointed. Its stomach growls softly. It will need to venture to the ground, to search for seeds, for insects, for anything edible. But not yet. Not while the light is still strange. Not while the world feels so uncertain. So it waits, motionless, watching. And below, the Triceratops continues its meal. Clip, chew, swallow. The sound is hypnotic, steady, reassuring. Life, for now, continues. 3 days have passed. Or perhaps it is 4. It is difficult to tell. The sun rises and sets, but you can barely see it. It appears as a pale disk in the sky. Dim, colorless. Like the moon during the day. It provides light, but not warmth. Not comfort. The world is painted in shades of grey. The vibrant greens of the forest have faded to olive, to ash, to something in between. The sky, once a brilliant blue, is now the color of old paper. Yellowish, sickly. The air tastes wrong, metallic, bitter, like breathing in dust after a long drought. The Triceratops is still alive, still grazing, but its movements are slower now, more labored. It is cold, not freezing, not yet, but cold in a way that this animal has never experienced. Cold that seeps into its bones, cold that makes its muscles stiff and reluctant. The Triceratops is a reptile. Not truly, it is something more complex than that, but close enough. It is cold-blooded. Or rather, it relies on external heat to regulate its body temperature. In the world before, the world of 3 days ago, this was never a problem. The sun was warm. The air was warm. The ground radiated heat absorbed during the day. But now, there is no heat to absorb. The sun is hidden, muffled, its warmth stolen by the layer of particles in the upper atmosphere. The animal shivers, its massive body trembling. It is trying to generate heat through movement, through muscle contractions. But this is inefficient. This burns energy. And energy comes from food. The Triceratops lowers its head to eat. But the ferns, the reliable, ever-present ferns, are changing. Their fronds are wilting, curling at the edges, turning from green to brown. Without sufficient sunlight, they cannot photosynthesize, cannot produce the sugars they need to grow, cannot sustain themselves. They are dying. Slowly, quietly, The Triceratops does not understand this. It only knows that the food tastes wrong, bitter, dry, but it eats anyway. Because hunger is simpler than understanding. Clip, chew, swallow, clip, chew, swallow. Across the forest, the same scene is playing out thousands of times. A herd of Edmontosaurus, duck-billed dinosaurs, standing in a clearing. Confused, cold, eating the dying vegetation because there is nothing else to eat. A lone Ankylosaurus, armored and low to the ground, moving through the underbrush. Its club tail dragging. Too heavy to lift. Too cold to care. Even the predators are struggling. A Tyrannosaurus, the apex predator of this world, stands motionless at the edge of the trees. It has not eaten in days. Not because there is no prey, but because it is too cold to hunt. Its metabolism is slowing. Its muscles are sluggish. It can barely generate the explosive speed needed to bring down large prey. So it waits, conserving energy. Its massive head lowered. Its breath forming small clouds in the cooling air. Yes, clouds. The temperature is dropping faster now. The Earth is losing heat, radiating it into space. And without the sun to replenish that heat, the surface is cooling. It is subtle at first. A degree per day, maybe 2. But it is cumulative, relentless. Within a week, the temperature will have dropped 10 degrees Celsius. Within a month, 20 degrees. Within 3 months, this tropical forest will experience frost. But we are not there yet. For now, it is simply cool. The kind of cool you might feel on an autumn evening. Refreshing. Almost pleasant. Except there is no autumn here. This is supposed to be eternal summer. The trees do not know what to make of it. Some species of trees, those that evolved in temperate climates, have mechanisms for dealing with cold. They can drop their leaves, seal their sap, enter dormancy. But these trees, these magnolias and cycads and ancient conifers, have no such mechanisms. They are designed for warmth, for consistency, for the predictable rhythms of wet and dry seasons. Not this. So they simply continue, growing slower, producing fewer leaves, conserving resources, hoping, in whatever way a tree can hope, that the warmth will return. The small mammal, the Purgatorius, is doing better than most. It has fur, thick fur, designed to trap heat close to its body. And it is small. Its body mass is low, which means it can warm up quickly, but also cool down quickly. But it has a trick, a survival strategy that the dinosaurs do not possess. It can burrow beneath the surface, below the leaf litter, below the topsoil. The temperature is more stable. The ground retains heat. Not much, but enough. The mammal has found a network of roots, a tangle of old tree roots that create natural chambers and tunnels. It has lined one of these chambers with dried grass, with moss, with soft plant fibers. And here, in this tiny underground nest, it is warm. Not hot. Not even particularly comfortable by human standards. But warm enough. The mammal curls into a ball. its tail wrapped around its body, its nose tucked under its hind legs. It is sleeping, entering a state of torpor, slowing its metabolism, conserving energy. It will wake later, when hunger drives it to the surface. It will search for seeds, for nuts, for anything it can store in its burrow, and then it will sleep again. This is the rhythm that will save it. Sleep, eat, store, sleep. While the giants above slowly freeze, the small things below will endure. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. It is still only the 4th day, or the 5th. Time is becoming fluid, uncertain. Without the sun to mark the hours, without the familiar rhythm of bright day and dark night, the animals are becoming disoriented. Some sleep during what should be day. Others stay awake through what should be night. The natural order is breaking down. And then, the rain begins. It is not a sudden storm, not a dramatic downpour. It is a slow, steady drizzle. Cold, persistent. The water falls from the grey sky in fine droplets, almost like mist. It coats everything with a slick sheen of moisture. The ferns bend under the weight of the water. The trees drip. The ground becomes soft, muddy. The Triceratops stands in the rain, too tired to seek shelter, too cold to care. The water runs off its back in rivulets, down its frill, down its legs, pooling around its feet. It shivers, a long, full-body shudder, and then it lowers itself to the ground, not to sleep, not exactly, but to rest, to conserve warmth, to press its belly against the earth and hope that the ground still holds some memory of the sun. Its eyes are open, watching, waiting. For what? It does not know. For the sun to return, for the warmth to come back, for the world to make sense again. But the sun does not return. The grey light persists, hour after hour, day after day. The plants are dying faster now. Without sunlight, they are consuming their stored reserves, burning through the sugars accumulated over years of growth. The grasses are the first to go, their thin blades turning yellow, then brown, then collapsing into soggy mats. The ferns last longer. They are more resilient. But even they are wilting, withdrawing, sending their energy down into their roots, into their rhizomes, into the underground structures that might survive until the light returns. The food chain is beginning to collapse. The herbivores, those massive animals that consume hundreds of kilograms of plant matter every day, are finding less and less to eat. They are losing weight, their ribs becoming visible, their movements sluggish. And the carnivores, who feed on the herbivores, are also suffering. Weak prey is easy prey. Yes. But when the prey dies naturally, when it simply lies down and stops breathing, there is no chase, no kill, just scavenging. A Tyrannosaurus finds a dead Triceratops. Not our Triceratops. A different one. Younger. Less resilient. It died during the night. Simply stopped. Its heart giving out. its body unable to maintain the energy needed to stay alive. The Tyrannosaurus approaches cautiously, its head lowered, sniffing. The meat is fresh, still warm. It tears into the carcass, its powerful jaws crushing bone, its teeth ripping away chunks of flesh. It eats quickly, desperately, gorging itself while the opportunity lasts. Because it knows, somewhere in its simple, predatory mind, that this might be the last meal for a long time. And it is right. 2 weeks pass. The temperature has dropped another 10 degrees. The rain has turned to sleet. Ice pellets that sting when they hit exposed skin, that rattle against the tree trunks, that accumulate in small drifts. The forest is silent now, truly silent. No bird calls, no insect hum, no rustling of animals moving through the underbrush. Just the sound of the sleet, falling, endlessly falling. The large dinosaurs are dying. Not all at once, not dramatically. They simply stop. A hadrosaur lies on its side in a clearing. Its flanks are hollow. Its eyes are closed. It is breathing. Barely. Each breath is shallow, labored. And then, one breath does not come. The chest stops rising. The body goes still. It is not violent. It is not painful. It is simply the end. The animal has run out of energy, out of heat, out of the resources needed to sustain such a large body in such a cold world. So it stops, and the forest claims it. Within days, scavengers will have picked the bones clean. Small mammals, birds, insects. Within months, the bones themselves will begin to sink into the soft earth, covered by mud, by falling leaves, by the slow accumulation of time. Within millions of years, they will be stone, fossils, a record of this moment preserved in rock. But that is a story for another time. For now, we watch as the forest grows still. Our Triceratops, the one we have been following, is still alive. Barely. It has not moved in 3 days. It lies on its side in a sheltered spot beneath a fallen log. Its breathing is slow. So slow. It is conserving energy. Every movement burns calories. And there are no more calories to burn. The ferns are gone. Dead. Rotted. Turned to brown sludge by the cold and the moisture. Even if the Triceratops could stand, could walk, there would be nothing to eat. So it lies still. Its eyes half closed. Its massive body slowly cooling to match the temperature of the air around it. It is slipping away. Gently. Peacefully. There is no fear. No panic. Just a gradual dimming. A fading. Like falling asleep after a very long day. Its breathing slows. Slower. Slower still. And then it stops. The great animal is still. Silent. At rest. The forest continues around it. The sleet continues to fall. The cold continues to deepen. But the Triceratops, this individual, this creature that lived for 40 years, that witnessed 10,000 sunsets, is gone. Not erased. Not forgotten. But returned. to the soil, to the cycle, to the endless process of transformation that drives all life on Earth. High above, the layer of particles continues to block the sun. The Earth continues to cool. The great extinction, the one that will be remembered in the rocks for billions of years, is well underway. But beneath the surface, in the Burrows, winter has come to a place that never knew winter. 6 weeks have passed since the impact. Or perhaps it is 7. The days have lost their meaning. The sun still rises, still sets, but you would not know it without watching very carefully. The sky is the same color at noon as it is at midnight. A dim, bruised gray, like the inside of a storm cloud, like smoke from a distant fire. The temperature has stabilized, but not in a good way. It hovers just above freezing. Some days slightly warmer, some days slightly colder, but always, always cold. The forest is transformed, unrecognizable. Where there were once towering magnolias, there are now skeletal trunks. Their branches bare, their bark cracked and peeling. Where there were once lush ferns, there is now mud. Frozen mud, hard as stone. Where there was once the constant hum of life, there is now silence. Absolute silence. The kind of silence you might experience deep in a snowstorm, when the snow falls so thickly that it absorbs all sound, when the world becomes muffled, distant, dreamlike, and there is snow. Not much, not the deep drifts you might imagine, but enough. It began 3 days ago, or was it 4? Time is strange now. Small, dry flakes, drifting down from the grey sky, landing on the frozen ground, on the dead vegetation, on the still forms of animals that did not survive. The snow is incongruous here. Wrong. This is a tropical latitude. Snow should not exist here. Has never existed here. But the rules have changed. The first flake fell on a fern frond. A dead fern frond, brown and brittle, but still standing. The flake landed softly. A tiny hexagonal crystal of frozen water. Perfect. Delicate. It did not melt. The air was too cold. The fern was too cold. It simply rested there, joined by another flake, and another, and another. Slowly, over hours, the fern became dusted with white, a ghost of its former self, a memory preserved in ice. The snow accumulates in patches, in the sheltered places, under the overhang of fallen logs, in the hollows of rocks. Not everywhere. The ground is too uneven, too chaotic. The snow melts in some places where the earth still holds faint warmth, but in others, it stays. It builds, millimeter by millimeter, creating a landscape that is both familiar and alien. Earth, but not Earth. A tropical forest wrapped in ice. The water in the streams has stopped flowing. Not everywhere. In the deeper channels, where the water runs fast, there is still movement. Still the soft gurgle of liquid over stone. But in the shallow pools, in the quiet backwaters, the surface has frozen. A thin skin of ice. Clear at first, then clouding as more ice forms beneath, expanding, thickening. The ice makes soft sounds as it forms. Tiny cracks and pops, like the crackling of a candle flame, or distant footsteps on frozen ground. These sounds echo in the silence, sharp, crystalline, and then they fade, absorbed by the snow, by the dead trees, by the heavy, moisture-laden air. Beneath the ice, life persists. Small fish, trapped, moving slowly in the cold water, their metabolism slowed to a crawl. They do not eat. There is nothing to eat. The algae are gone. The insects are gone. They simply exist, waiting, burning through the fat reserves in their bodies one molecule at a time. Some will survive. The small ones, the ones who can enter a state of near hibernation. Others, the larger ones, will not. But their deaths will be slow, gentle, a gradual fading rather than a sudden stop. There is a strange beauty to this frozen world. The ice crystals catch what little light filters through the grey sky. They sparkle, faintly, like distant stars. The snow softens the harsh edges of the landscape, covers the dead things, makes everything look clean, pure, new. If you did not know what came before, if you had no memory of the green world, you might think this was peaceful. And in a way, it is. The struggle is over. For the large animals, for the plants, for the entire ecosystem that depended on warmth and light. They have let go, released their grip on life, allowed the cold to take them. There is no more hunger, no more pain, no more confusion, just stillness, silence, rest. The bodies of the dinosaurs are scattered across the landscape. A Tyrannosaurus, fallen on its side, its legs curled beneath it, its head resting on the frozen ground. It looks almost peaceful, like it is sleeping, dreaming of warmer days. Snow has begun to accumulate on its body, covering its scales, softening its outline. In a few months, it will be just a mound, a white hill, indistinguishable from the landscape around it. A herd of Triceratops, or what was once a herd, lies together in a clearing. They died close to each other, seeking, perhaps, the comfort of proximity, the warmth of their herd mates. Even in death, they are together. Their bodies are already beginning to freeze, the moisture in their tissues turning to ice, expanding, cracking cell walls. Soon they will be solid, frozen monuments to a vanished age. But deep beneath the surface, below the frost line, below the reach of the cold, there is warmth. Not much. The Earth's internal heat, the slow decay of radioactive elements in the mantle, provides only a trickle of warmth to the surface. But it is enough. Enough to keep the deep soil from freezing. Enough to maintain a gradient. A difference. And where there is a difference, there is possibility. The burrows are refuges now. Sanctuaries. The small mammals have retreated completely underground. They have sealed their entrances with packed earth, with dried grass, with anything that will keep out the cold air. Inside, the temperature is stable. Cool, yes, but not freezing, not deadly. perhaps 5 degrees Celsius, perhaps 8. Cold enough to slow metabolism, to reduce the need for food, but warm enough to sustain life. The mammals sleep, but it is not a normal sleep. It is torpor, a state between sleep and hibernation. Their heart rates have dropped from 400 beats per minute to perhaps 50, perhaps 30. Their breathing is shallow, one breath every 10 seconds, every 20. Their body temperature has fallen, matching the temperature of the burrow, conserving energy. They are waiting, though they do not know they are waiting. Their bodies, shaped by millions of years of evolution, know this trick, know how to shut down, how to endure. They have stores of fat, accumulated during the time before, when food was abundant, when the world was green. These stores are being consumed, slowly, a few molecules per hour, but enough to keep the essential processes running. Heartbeat, breath, the firing of neurons in the sleeping brain. Life reduced to its simplest form, not thriving, not growing, but persisting. And that is enough. There are also seeds, scattered throughout the soil, buried in the leaf litter, hidden in cracks in the bark of dead trees. Seeds are remarkable things, tiny packages of potential, waiting. They can wait for years, decades. Some species can wait for centuries. They do not need light. They do not need warmth. They are dormant, suspended. Their internal processes have stopped almost completely. Their cells are locked in a state of preservation. Their DNA coiled tight, protected. They are waiting for the right conditions, for moisture and warmth and light. And when those conditions return, if those conditions return, they will wake. But for now, they sleep. The months pass. 1 month, 2 months, 3. The cold persists, unchanging, relentless. The layer of particles in the atmosphere shows no signs of settling. The sun remains hidden. The Earth continues to radiate heat into space, continues to cool. In some regions, far from the equator, the temperature has dropped below -20 degrees Celsius. Ice sheets are forming, growing, spreading. The ocean itself is cooling. The surface waters, normally warm and full of life, are now cold and empty. The plankton, the tiny organisms that form the base of the marine food web, are dying. Without sunlight, they cannot photosynthesize, cannot produce the oxygen that keeps the ocean alive. The die-off spreads through the water column, from the surface down to the depths. Fish die, squid die, marine reptiles die. Their bodies sink, drifting down through the dark water, settling on the ocean floor. There, in the deep, scavengers wait. Crabs, worms, bacteria. They feast on the rain of death from above, growing fat, multiplying. Life, even here, finds a way. But on the surface, the ocean is becoming a desert. Cold, dark, empty. The waves continue to roll, driven by wind, by the Earth's rotation. by the pull of the moon. But there is nothing alive in them. Just water, salt, ice. The world has entered a state that will later be called impact winter, a period of cold and darkness that lasts for months, perhaps years. A period where the normal rules of life are suspended, where survival depends not on strength or speed or size, but on patience, on the ability to wait, to sleep, to endure. And in the burrows, the small mammals continue their vigil, curled tight, breathing slowly, hearts beating with glacial rhythm. They are the future, though they do not know it. They are the inheritors of a world that has not yet been born. But for now, they are simply asleep, warm, safe, waiting. Let us descend, down through the frozen soil, through the layers of dead leaves and frost, through the root systems of sleeping trees, down to where the cold cannot reach, down to the burrows. The entrance is small, barely visible, a hole in the base of a fallen log, covered partially by snow, by debris. You would walk past it without noticing. It looks like nothing, like any of 1,000 other small depressions in the forest floor. But if you were to lower yourself, to peer inside, you would see a tunnel. Narrow, dark, descending at a gentle angle into the earth. The tunnel is lined with roots. Thin, hair-like roots from the grasses and ferns that once grew here. They create a natural reinforcement, preventing collapse. The walls are smooth, worn smooth by countless passages of small, furred bodies. By decades, perhaps centuries, of use. This is not a new burrow. This tunnel system has existed for generations. Expanded, modified, inherited from parent to offspring to offspring. It extends deeper than you might expect. 2 meters down, 3 meters, below the frost line, below the reach of the killing cold. And at the bottom, a chamber. The chamber is roughly the size of a soccer ball, carved out of the soft earth. The walls are packed hard, compressed by the weight of the soil above. But the floor is soft. It is lined with dried grass, with strips of bark, with soft plant fibers collected before the cold came. The material is woven together, not deliberately, not with conscious design, but through the repeated movements of the burrow's inhabitant. Turning, circling, settling, creating a nest. And in this nest, curled into a tight ball, is the mammal, Purgatorius, the tiny ancestor, the survivor. It is sleeping, has been sleeping for weeks. Its body is so small, no larger than your thumb, weighing perhaps 30 grams. Its fur is thick, dark brown, almost black in the dim interior of the burrow. The fur is raised, fluffed, creating tiny pockets of trapped air. Insulation. The mammal's tail is wrapped around its body, covering its nose. Its feet are tucked tight against its belly. It is a perfect sphere of fur, minimizing surface area, conserving heat. Its breathing is barely perceptible. The tiny chest rises, pauses, falls. Rises, pauses, falls. perhaps one breath every 15 seconds. Its heartbeat is slow, 50 beats per minute. In normal circumstances, when active, its heart would beat 400 times per minute. But these are not normal circumstances. The mammal is in torpor, a state of controlled hypothermia. Its body temperature has dropped from 38 degrees to perhaps 15 degrees Celsius. This is a survival strategy, a way to dramatically reduce metabolic rate, to make stored energy last as long as possible. It is not true hibernation, not the deep, season-long sleep of bears or ground squirrels. It is lighter than that, more flexible. The mammal can rouse itself if needed, if danger threatens, if an opportunity for food presents itself. But for now, there is no reason to wake. Above ground, there is only cold and death and emptiness. Below ground, there is warmth and safety and rest. So it sleeps. The temperature in the burrow is stable, 7 degrees Celsius. Cool, but not cold, not freezing. The Earth itself provides this warmth. The slow decay of radioactive elements deep in the planet's core. The residual heat from Earth's formation 4.5 billion years ago. It rises, millimeter by millimeter, degree by degree, just enough to keep the deep soil from freezing, just enough to create this refuge. The air in the burrow is still, undisturbed. It smells of earth, of dried grass, of the faint, musky scent of the mammal itself. It is humid. The mammal's breath, slow as it is, adds moisture to the air. And the moisture has nowhere to go. It hangs, suspended, making the air thick, heavy. But this is good. Humidity helps retain heat, helps keep the mammal's skin from drying out. In one corner of the chamber, there is a small cache. Seeds, nuts, a few dried berries, collected during the last days before the cold became unbearable. Stored here, preserved by the cool, dry conditions. The mammal will need these when it wakes, when the torpor lifts and hunger returns. But that is a future concern. For now, the cache sits undisturbed. The seeds themselves are dormant, waiting, just like the mammal. Some of them are fern spores, tiny, dust-like, each one containing the genetic blueprint for an entire plant. Others are scythe seeds, larger, hard-shelled, designed to survive fire, flood, and now, it seems, ice. They do not decay. They do not spoil. They simply wait. Time passes differently here. Underground, there is no day or night, no sunrise or sunset, no visual cues to mark the hours. There is only the slow, steady rhythm of breathing, of heartbeat, of life reduced to its essentials. The mammal dreams. Perhaps. We do not know if animals dream. Not for certain. But brain activity continues during torpor. Neurons fire. Patterns form. Perhaps the mammal dreams of warmth, of sunlight filtering through leaves, of the taste of ripe fruit. Or perhaps it dreams of nothing. Perhaps its mind is as still as its body, suspended, waiting, Either way, it is at peace. This burrow is not unique. There are thousands like it. Millions. Scattered across the frozen landscape. Each one a tiny pocket of life. A refuge. In some burrows, there are multiple mammals. Huddled together. Sharing warmth. In others, there are different species. Insects. Worms. Amphibians. All seeking the same thing. Shelter. Warmth. Survival. The soil itself is alive with dormant life. Bacteria. Fungi. Microscopic organisms that can survive almost anything. They are not active, not growing or reproducing. But they are not dead. They are in stasis. Their cellular processes slowed to almost nothing, waiting for better conditions. When the warmth returns, when the light returns, they will wake. They will begin the slow work of decomposition, of breaking down the dead things, of recycling nutrients. They will rebuild the soil, make it fertile again, prepare it for new growth. But that is far in the future. For now, they wait. The burrow is a universe unto itself. Small, enclosed, complete. Everything the mammal needs is here. Shelter, food, water, in the form of moisture in the air and in the cached berries. It is simple, minimal, but sufficient. This is the key to survival. Not complexity, not size, not strength, but simplicity, efficiency, the ability to make do with less. The large animals, the dinosaurs, required enormous amounts of food, of heat, of space. When those resources vanished, they had no fallback, no alternative strategy. They were specialists, perfectly adapted to a warm, green world. But when that world ended, so did they. The mammals, by contrast, were generalists. They could eat many things: seeds, insects, fruit, leaves, carrion. They could live in many places: trees, burrows, caves, dense underbrush. They could tolerate a range of temperatures. Their fur provided insulation. Their high metabolism generated internal heat. And most importantly, they were small. Small bodies require less food, less water, less energy to maintain. Small bodies can hide in small spaces, can find refuge where large animals cannot. Small bodies can survive on scraps, on the margins, on the leftovers of a dying world. And so, while the giants perished, the small endured. Not through any virtue, not through any superiority, simply through the accident of their size, their flexibility, their ability to wait. The mammal's whiskers twitch slightly, a tiny movement in the stillness. It is dreaming, or perhaps responding to some stimulus too subtle to perceive. Its paws flex, the tiny claws extending and retracting. And then, stillness again. The breathing continues. Slow, steady, hypnotic. In, out, in, out. Like the tide, like the gentle lapping of waves on a distant shore. The heartbeat continues. A soft, rhythmic pulse. Lub-dub, lub-dub, lub-dub. Pushing blood through tiny veins. Delivering oxygen to sleeping cells. Maintaining the spark of life. Outside, above, the world is frozen. Dead. Silent. But here, in this small chamber beneath the earth, life continues. Quiet. Patient. Enduring. The mammal does not know about the asteroid. Does not know about the impact. Does not know that the world has ended. It only knows the present moment. The warmth of the nest. The fullness of its belly from the last meal. The deep, restful peace of torpor. It is, in a strange way, content. Not happy. Contentment and happiness are complex emotions. We cannot know if this creature experiences them. But it is at rest. Its needs are met. It is safe. And that, perhaps, is the closest thing to contentment that exists in the animal world. Months pass. The mammal sleeps. Occasionally, perhaps once every few weeks, it rouses. Slightly. Its body temperature rises. Its breathing quickens. It uncurls. It nibbles at the stored seeds. Drinks moisture from the damp earth. Urinates in a corner of the chamber far from the nest. And then, it curls up again. And sleeps. This is the rhythm of survival. Wake. Eat. Sleep. Repeat. Minimal. Efficient. Sustainable. And above, unnoticed, unobserved, the world begins to change. Slowly. Imperceptibly. But changing nonetheless. The layer of particles in the atmosphere is settling. Millimeter by millimeter. Grain by grain. The heavier particles fall first. The larger fragments. The denser materials. They rain down onto the frozen landscape. Covering the ice. Darkening the snow. Black snow. Grey snow. Snow the color of ash. But the lighter particles, the finest dust, they remain aloft. Circling the globe on high-altitude winds. Still blocking the sun. Still maintaining the cold. But less effectively now. The veil is thinning. The barrier is weakening. And slowly, very slowly, the sun's light begins to penetrate. Not much. Not yet. But a little more each day. The grey sky becomes slightly lighter. The dim glow at noon becomes slightly brighter. The temperature, which has hovered near freezing for months, begins to rise. A fraction of a degree per week. Barely noticeable. But cumulative. Persistent. The ice begins to melt. In the warmest parts of the day. In the places where the sun's weak rays strike most directly. Small trickles of water. Dripping from icicles. Running down tree trunks. Pooling in depressions. The sound of dripping water. After months of silence, it is extraordinary. Drip. 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 The rhythm of returning life. But the mammal, deep in its burrow, does not hear this. It continues to sleep. Warm. Safe. Dreaming. Waiting for the signal. The change in temperature. The shift in day length. The signal that will tell it, The winter is ending. The world is waking. It is time. But that time has not come yet. So it sleeps. And the burrow remains still. A small pocket of warmth. In a cold world. A refuge. A sanctuary. A promise of the future. Time has passed. How much time? It is difficult to say. Months. Many months. Perhaps a year. Perhaps more. The concept of time has become abstract. Fluid. Meaningless in the way we usually measure it. But the Earth, the patient Earth, continues its journey around the Sun. And slowly, imperceptibly at first, things begin to change. The particles in the atmosphere, those tiny fragments of vaporized rock, are settling. Grain by grain. Molecule by molecule. Falling to Earth like the slowest snow imaginable. They land on the frozen ground. On the ice. On the bodies of the fallen. They create a layer. A boundary. A marker in the geological record that will be visible for millions of years. Scientists will call it the KPG boundary. The line between the Cretaceous and the Paleogene. The line between the world that was and the world that will be. But for now, it is simply dust. Settling. Covering. Marking. As the veil thins, the sun's light grows stronger. Not suddenly. Not dramatically. But gradually. Like dawn breaking after the longest night. The sky, which has been grey for so long, begins to show hints of blue. Not the brilliant azure of the world before. Not yet. But a pale, washed-out blue. Like faded denim. Like the sky through fog. The temperature begins to rise. Slowly. A degree per week. 2 degrees. 3. The ice begins to melt in earnest now. Not everywhere. In the coldest regions, far from the equator, the ice will remain for decades. Perhaps centuries. But here, in what was once Montana, in this forest that witnessed the end, the ice is retreating. The sound of water is everywhere now. Dripping. Trickling. Gurgling. Running. Icicles hanging from dead branches release drops. One by one. Catching the weak sunlight. Sparkling briefly before falling to the ground below. Drip, drip, drip. The rhythm is hypnotic. Constant. The heartbeat of a world returning to life. Small streams, frozen for months, begin to flow again. At first just a trickle. Water moving between the ice crystals. Finding channels. Following gravity. Then stronger. The ice breaking up. Fragments floating downstream. Carried away. The sound of running water is beautiful. Musical. After so much silence, it is almost overwhelming. Splash. Gurgle. Murmur. The streams sing. And the forest, the dead forest, begins to listen. In the burrow, the mammal stirs. Its internal clock, calibrated by millions of years of evolution, senses the change. The temperature in the burrow is rising. Slowly, but noticeably. The air smells different. Less stale. As if fresh air is seeping in from above. The mammal's breathing quickens. Its heart rate increases. Lub-dub, lub-dub, lub-dub. faster now. Stronger. Its body temperature begins to rise. From 15 degrees to 20 to 25. The torpor is lifting. Its eyes flutter. Open. Dark eyes. Bright. Alert. It uncurls. Stretches. Its tiny limbs extending. Its spine arching. It is awake. Hungry. Very hungry. It turns to the cache in the corner. The seeds and nuts stored months ago. It picks up a seed. Holds it in its small paws. Gnaws at the hard shell. Crack. The shell splits. The rich, oily kernel inside is exposed. The mammal eats. Quickly. Greedily. Its body desperate for energy. One seed. Another. Another. The taste is good. Familiar. Safe. When it has eaten its fill, it turns toward the tunnel. Toward the entrance. It has not been outside in months. Not since the cold became unbearable. But something is pulling it. Some instinct. Some deep knowledge that the world above has changed. It climbs. Carefully. Its claws gripping the packed earth of the tunnel walls. Up. Toward the light. And there is light. Weak, filtered, but light nonetheless. The mammal reaches the entrance. Pauses. Its nose twitching. Sampling the air. Cold. Still cold. But not freezing. Not deadly. It ventures out. Cautiously. One paw. Then another. The world outside is strange. The snow is melting. Turning to slush. To mud. The ground is soft. Unstable. The trees are still dead. Their branches bare and broken. But water is dripping from them. Life, in the form of liquid water, is returning. The mammal looks around. Alert. Watchful. There are no sounds of other animals. No bird calls. No rustling in the underbrush. It is alone. Or nearly so. But it is alive. And that is enough. It begins to search for food. Turning over pieces of bark. Digging in the soft mud. And there, beneath a rotting log, it finds something. A grub. White. Fat. Sluggish in the cold. The mammal pounces. Seizes the grub in its mouth. Bites down. The taste is good. Rich. Protein. It eats the grub. Searches for more. Finds another. And another. Life, small life, is returning to the soil. The bacteria. The fungi. The decomposers. They are waking. Beginning their work. Breaking down the dead things. Converting death into nutrients. Preparing the soil for what comes next. And what comes next is green. In the mud. In the spaces between the melting ice. In the cracks in the dead bark. Something is growing. Ferns. Not the same ferns that died in the cold. Those are gone. Rotted. Turned to compost. But new ferns. Tiny. Delicate. Emerging from spores that lay dormant in the soil. The spores, protected by hard shells, survived the freeze. they waited. Patient. Invisible. And now, with the return of water, with the faint warmth of the sun, they wake. A single spore germinates. Sends out a tiny thread. A root. Seeking moisture. Seeking nutrients. Then another thread. A shoot. Reaching upward. Seeking light. It breaks the surface of the mud. A tiny green tendril. No larger than an eyelash. And then another spore germinates. And another. And another. Within days, the mud is covered with a faint green fuzz. Within weeks, the fuzz becomes recognizable as tiny fern fronds. Within months, the entire forest floor is carpeted in vibrant, aggressive, unstoppable green. This is the fern spike. Scientists, millions of years in the future, will find evidence of this moment in the rock record. A layer of fossilized fern spores. Thick. Dense. Overwhelming. A spike in the data. A sudden explosion of fern growth across the entire planet. It marks the beginning of recovery. The first chapter of the new world. The ferns grow quickly. Aggressively. They have no competition. No large herbivores to eat them. No trees to shade them. They have the entire planet to themselves. And they take full advantage. Their fronds unfurl. Reaching toward the strengthening sun. Photosynthesizing. Converting light into energy. Into growth. They spread. Sending out runners. Underground stems that pop up meters away. Creating new plants. Clones. The forest floor becomes a sea of green. Undulating. Rippling in the gentle breeze. And with the green, comes oxygen. The ferns breathe out oxygen as they photosynthesize. Replenishing the atmosphere. Restoring balance. The air becomes fresher. Cleaner. Easier to breathe. And other things begin to wake. Insects. Buried in the soil. Dormant in rotting logs. They emerge. Beetles. Flies. Ants. Springtails. They are small. Resilient. Like the mammals, they survived by hiding. By waiting. They begin to feed on the ferns. On the decomposing organic matter. On each other. The food web, shattered by the impact, begins to rebuild. Slowly. One connection at a time. The mammal, our mammal, thrives in this new world. There is food everywhere. Insects. Seeds. Young fern shoots. And there are no predators. The large carnivores are gone. The Tyrannosaurus. The raptors. All gone. The mammal moves freely. Boldly. Exploring. It finds a mate. Another survivor from another burrow. Together, they raise a litter of young. The young are tiny. Pink. Blind at first. But they grow quickly. Fed on their mother's milk. Protected in the burrow. Safe. And when they are old enough, they venture out. Into the green world. Into the world of the ferns. They spread. Establish their own territories. Dig their own burrows. And the cycle continues. Generation after generation. Each one slightly different from the last. each one adapting, evolving. Some become better at climbing trees. Others become better at digging. Others become better at running. Slowly, over millions of years, they diversify into dozens of species, hundreds, thousands, into all the mammals that will eventually fill the planet, into whales, into bats, into elephants and mice and dolphins and apes, into you. But that is far in the future. For now, it is simply spring. The first spring after the longest winter. The sun is shining. Weak, but shining. The ferns are growing. Green and vibrant. The water is flowing. Clear and cold. And life, precious, resilient life, continues. And now we must travel forward. Not days. Not weeks. Not even years. We must travel millions of years. Compressing time. Folding it. Until eons pass like seconds. Watch. The ferns grow. Spread. Dominate the landscape. And then they are replaced. New plants emerge. Flowering plants. Trees. Grasses. They compete with the ferns. Outgrow them. Shade them. The ferns retreat. Back to the forest floor. Back to the damp places. Back to their ancient niches. The forest returns. But it is different now. Oak trees. Maple trees. Pine trees. Trees that did not exist in the Cretaceous. They grow tall. Their roots delving deep. Their branches reaching high. The canopy closes. Light filters through in dappled patterns. The forest floor becomes shaded. Cool. Perfect for ferns, which still grow there, thriving in the shadows. Some things do not change. The mammals spread, diversify, evolve. Some remain small, true-like, living in burrows and trees. Others grow larger, fill the niches left by the dinosaurs. There are herbivores now, grazing mammals, browsers, animals that eat the new plants, and carnivores, predators that hunt the herbivores. The food web becomes complex again, intricate, balanced. Time flows forward, like a river, unstoppable. The continents drift. North America separates from Europe. India crashes into Asia. Mountains rise. Ice ages come and go. Glacier advance and retreat. Sea levels rise and fall. And through it all, the mammals persist. Adapt. Thrive. Some take to the water. Become streamlined. Develop flippers. Become seals. Whales. Dolphins. Others take to the air. Develop wings. Become bats. Others grow enormous. Become elephants. Rhinos. Hippos. And some remain small. Clever. Adaptable. They develop grasping hands. Forward-facing eyes. Large brains. They climb trees. Eat fruit. Live in social groups. They are the primates. Your ancestors. Watch them. These small, tree-dwelling creatures. Over millions of years, they evolve. Some become lemurs. Others become monkeys. Others become apes. And from the apes, eventually, come humans. You are the descendant of that tiny mammal. That survivor. That creature who huddled in a burrow while the world froze. Your existence, right now, in this moment, is the result of that survival. Every cell in your body contains DNA that has been passed down through an unbroken chain. From parent to offspring. For 66 million years. Through ice ages. Through volcanic eruptions. Through droughts and floods and countless extinctions. Your ancestors survived all of it. And now, here you are. Safe. Warm. Resting. The inheritor of an ancient legacy. The product of 4 billion years of evolution. The universe, becoming aware of itself. Let that sink in for a moment. You are made of star stuff. Carbon. Oxygen. Nitrogen. Iron. Elements forged in the hearts of dying stars. Scattered across space. Condensed into planets. Organized into molecules. Into cells. Into tissues. Into you. You are the universe, dreaming. And right now, in this moment, you are safe. The asteroid is gone. Vaporized. Scattered. A thin layer of iridium in the rocks. The dinosaurs are gone. Turned to stone. Fossils in museums. Marvels for children to wonder at. The long night is over. The sun returned. The world healed. Life always finds a way. And you are proof of that. Let us return to the forest. One last time. Not the Cretaceous forest. Not the frozen wasteland. But the forest as it exists today. The sun is setting. The light is golden. Warm. Birds are singing their evening songs. Insects are humming. A deer moves quietly through the underbrush. Everything is green. Alive. Thriving. And beneath the surface, in small burrows, tiny mammals sleep. They are not so different from their ancient ancestors. Still small. Still furred. Still sleeping in warm, dark places. They do not know about the asteroid. They do not remember the long night. But their bodies remember. Encoded in their DNA. The knowledge of survival. How to sleep when resources are scarce. How to store fat. How to wait. These are ancient skills. Passed down through countless generations. And you have inherited them too. Your body knows how to rest. How to heal. How to restore itself during sleep. These are the same mechanisms that allowed your ancestors to survive the impact winter. So when you sleep, you are participating in an ancient ritual. A practice that is billions of years old. You are doing what your ancestors did. What all living things do. You are letting go. Releasing the day. Trusting that the morning will come. And it will. The sun will rise. As it has risen every day for 4.5 billion years. The earth will continue to turn. The seasons will change. Life will persist. You are part of that continuity. That endless cycle. You are safe. The night, this night, is not a long night. not a dangerous night. It is just a normal night. A peaceful night. A night for rest. For dreams. For restoration. Outside your window, the world is calm. The stars are shining. The same stars that shone on the Cretaceous forest. The same stars that will shine long after you are gone. They are constant, eternal, comforting. And you, here in your bed, are warm, safe, protected. The blankets are soft. The pillow is comfortable. The darkness is gentle. There is nothing to fear, nothing to worry about. The day is done. The work is finished. The time for rest has come. Let your shoulders relax. Let them drop. Release the tension you have been holding. Let your jaw unclench. Let your forehead smooth. Let your eyes grow heavy. Feel the weight of your body pressing into the mattress. Feel the support beneath you. Solid. Reliable. You are held. Supported. Safe. Your breathing is slowing. Deepening. Becoming rhythmic. In and out. In and out. Like the breathing of the sleeping mammal. Like the breathing of all living things. Your heartbeat is steady. Strong. Reliable. Lub-dub, lub-dub, lub-dub. The rhythm of life. The rhythm of existence. Let yourself drift. There is no need to hold on. No need to stay alert. The world will continue without your attention. The earth will keep turning. The stars will keep shining. You can let go. You can rest. Imagine yourself in a burrow. Warm. Dark. Safe. The earth around you is soft. Comfortable. The temperature is perfect. You are curled up. Small. Protected. Nothing can reach you here. Outside, far above, the world continues. But you do not need to be part of it right now. You only need to rest. To sleep. To dream. The long night is over. The sun has returned. The world has healed. And you are the proof of that healing. You are the descendant of survivors. Of creatures who endured the impossible. Their strength is in you. Their resilience is in you. Their ability to rest, to wait, to survive is in you. So sleep. As they slept. Deep. Peaceful. Restorative. The morning will come. It always does. But for now, let the darkness embrace you. Let the silence soothe you. Let the warmth comfort you. Sleep. 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 Long silence. The forest is quiet now. The burrow is still. The mammal sleeps. And somewhere, across the vast expanse of time, so do you. Safe. Warm. At peace. The first night has ended. And so has this one. Rest well.